I hope you're all doing well, and thanks for tuning in to Facebook Connect. For those of you joining for the first time, Connect is usually our big conference with developers coming together from all over the world as we show off the latest in virtual and augmented reality. Now, things are a little different this year, but we've got some exciting new things to show you, and I'm really looking forward to it. But first, I just want to say that I hope you are all staying healthy, safe, and good during this time. For a lot of us, COVID means living more of our lives online. Going to school, working, hanging out with friends. More is happening online now, but it's not quite the same. Most of us have been on video calls where people keep talking over each other, and staring at a grid of faces for hours just isn't always the most natural way to interact. What we're missing is this feeling of presence. The feeling of actually being right there with someone else, with all of the different sensations that includes. So that's what the whole fields of virtual and augmented reality are about, delivering that sense of presence. And that's why a lot of people have been spending more time in VR since COVID hit. I know I have. It's a way to get out there, even when you can't leave your house, and to see your friends and feel connected even when you're physically apart. And with all the heaviness in the world this year, it's also a way to have some fun and find some moments of joy. I've definitely been playing a lot more with friends recently, especially games like Echo VR, which is kind of like playing full contact frisbee in zero gravity space, or Arizona Sunshine, where you can stand back to back with your friends as you fight off wave after wave of zombies. I've also been enjoying Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, which is this great party game where you're in VR and you have to defuse a bomb with the help of your friends who are outside of VR, and they're helping you solve the bomb's puzzles. And it gets hilarious pretty quickly depending on how helpful or not your friends are. Now, if you've tried experiences like this, you know just how magical it is to be together in one of these worlds with your friends. And as the ecosystem keeps growing and the hardware keeps getting better and better, we're starting to see how whole new categories of experiences could take place in VR in the future. So I'm looking forward to showing you what we've been working on. But before we dive in, you may have noticed that this event got a new name, Facebook Connect. And it's brought to you by a new group, Facebook Reality Labs. And that's because this work, to build the next computing platform, to deliver that sense of presence and immersion, and to make it the best platform for connecting with people you care about, that work increasingly requires us to extend beyond just our Oculus virtual reality product lines to include a lot more of the work that we're doing into augmented reality, into all kinds of long-term research, into more natural interactions like neural interfaces, into home and other wearable devices, and into software development like what we're doing with Horizon and what we have done for the whole history of our company. So we have one group that pulled together all of our augmented reality and virtual reality efforts, which we are calling Facebook Reality Labs. And now we also have one event to discuss all of this work, which we're calling Facebook Connect. Our goal is to deliver the products and technology that let you feel like you're together with the people you want, no matter where you are or the physical distance between you. So today, we're going to talk about how we're going to get there. Now, first, let's talk about augmented reality. The goal here is to develop some normal-sized, nice-looking glasses that you can wear all day and interact with holograms, digital objects, and information while still being present with the people and world around you. Maybe you want to just sit on your couch and have a friend teleport and have their hologram sit right next to you to play games or just talk or hang out. Maybe you're walking somewhere and you want directions, or you see something awesome and you want to share it without having to take out your phone. Maybe you don't want to have to carry your phone around at all, or have to worry about having it take you away from the moment. You're going to be able to do all of this with a pair of glasses. Now, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on some of the foundational technologies. Later today, we're going to share more about Project Aria, which is the first research device that we're going to be putting out into the world to help us understand the software and hardware needed to build our first consumer augmented reality glasses. And we're starting to put together all the different building blocks, including the input systems, the display systems, spatial audio. We have a team of computational neuroscientists and engineers working on non-invasive neural interfaces and ways to use subtle gestures to control augmented reality objects in the world. There are still hard problems to solve, But this has the opportunity to open up a lot of new ways for people to connect, to work, learn, and play in the future. And we now have line of sight into how we're going to get there in the coming years. Now, in the meantime, there's a lot that we can do today with the technology that we've already created in order to develop great smart glasses. They're not yet augmented reality glasses, but they're on the road there. So a couple of years ago, I started meeting with some of the best eyeglasses makers around the world. And this journey took me to Milan, where I met with the founder of a company called EssilorLuxottica. They're the best in the world at making glasses, and they make Ray-Ban and Oakley, and they design and build frames for everyone from Armani to Versace. And after spending time with their team and visiting their factory, I knew that they were the right partner for us to help bring the best technology together with the best glasses. And of course, in the future, people aren't all going to wear one or two different styles of glasses, like we just have a couple of different kinds of phones. So we need to support a lot of different designs and styles, and that's what Luxottica does. Now, we don't have a product yet to share with you today, but I am excited to share that we have formed a multi-year partnership, starting with building and releasing our first pair of smart glasses next year. Now, I can't go into full product details yet, but they're going to be the next step on the road to augmented reality glasses, and they look pretty good too. So here's a quick video that our team put together.
Introducing the glasses of the future. Cutting-edge technology ahead of its time. The eyewear of tomorrow.
Aiding the cause of science.
Inching my way towards the future.
I wish I could see out of this thing.
All right, so this is going to be a big milestone in starting to integrate the core technologies into a regular glasses form factor and seeing how people use them. And speaking of that, the most important part of any AR product is the experiences it can deliver. And I'm happy with how the AR software ecosystem is coming together too. More than 600 million people use AR across our apps and devices every month. People are creating some really awesome things with Spark AR, which anyone can use to build AR effects for Facebook and Instagram. There's also AR shopping technology that lets you see how furniture is going to look in your room, or how makeup or glasses are going to look on your face before you buy them. We're already seeing some of the creativity that augmented reality can unlock, and I think that this is all just going to get a lot better as AR starts to become even more mainstream. Now, let's talk about virtual reality. We are continuing to build out the Quest platform with better hardware, software, and content, and we're starting to see more areas where VR provides a clearly better experience than other platforms. So take gaming. I think Quest is already the best VR gaming platform, but it's about to get a lot better because a couple of years ago, we started working with some of the best game studios to produce AAA franchises for Quest. And today, we're going to share some of this work from developers like Respawn, ILM X Lab, Universal Games, and more. And we're continuing to bring even more of these games to Quest. This fall, Oculus Link is coming out of beta. And Oculus Link allows you to use a compatible gaming PC to play Rift titles on Quest. In the future, it's going to support 90 Hz for PC gameplay, and we're working on a new UI so you're going to be able to find all of your PC games right alongside your Quest apps all in one place. So that's coming next year, and it will give you access to a lot of native Quest features while you are using Link. Another important area is social products. We're building new social experiences like Horizon, which is now an invite-only beta, and it lets you create your own worlds where you can go and hang out with your friends. We're also building experiences like Venues, which I know a lot of you are using right now to watch this live stream. And I'm really focused on this area of social software because, as I've said a few times, I think that augmented and virtual reality are going to be the most social platforms ever. And we're really just scratching the surface on this right now. We're also seeing how VR can change work. Some of our Oculus teams already have their meetings in VR. And since COVID, I held my first management team meeting entirely in VR too. And I have to say, in some ways, it already felt more real than a video call because we had a shared sense of space. I always find that I have a harder time remembering discussions on video calls because from a visual and auditory perspective, there's no shared sense of space. Everything just looks flat. But in VR, even before we have avatars with full fidelity and facial expressions, just having that shared visual sense of space and spatial audio, that for everyone else in the room and people's locations looks the same to everyone else. You can hear where someone's talking from. It just makes a huge difference. Now, more people are going to work remotely in the future. Now, I think that VR is going to give you the ability to work from anywhere without having to feel a lot of that separation that current remote work setups bring. Facebook has already said that for our company, we expect 50% of our employees to work remotely long term. So we're invested in building out the tools that we need for our own people to work from anywhere, and then we're going to deliver them to the world. There are other advantages to VR for work too. Like you can design your own perfect workstation with infinite screen space and ability to teleport between different teams and projects easily. So we'll cover all of this and more in the rest of the session today. But before I sign off, I want to show you something new that we've been working on. And for this, we're going to need Boz, who heads up Facebook Reality Labs. I've been keeping him pretty busy during this lockdown, and here's a quick summary of some of our conversations over the last period.
Really, Mark? I mean, that's 5 in a row.
I told you I've had a lot of practice. Been spending a lot more time in VR.
Does he ever sleep?
Quest is awesome, but I've been thinking, people love it, but there are a few places where we could make it better. I mean, the screen's great, but I wonder if we could get 50% more pixels in there to make it even crisper.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. This is why I always lose in Echo Arena. Taylor, Mark wants to know if we can make the screen more crisp.
Yeah, we can do that. We could throw in a single high-res LCD panel.
Great.
But let's make sure we keep the built-in IPD adjustment.
Got it. But keep the built-in IPD adjustment, of course. We can keep the built-in IPD adjustment?
It's never been done before with a single panel, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
I also think we could try to make the whole thing lighter. Let's try to cut 10% off the weight.
Could we put it on a diet?
Yeah, I think we could shave a few grams.
You got it, Mark. Leslie thinks we can shave off a few grams.
All right, one more thing. We've got to make the next version a lot more powerful. Let's see if we can advance the processor by a couple of generations and maybe add more memory?
Ciao, my buddy, my man. What about that new VR dedicated processor we've been working on with Qualcomm?
The Snapdragon Xi2? That is not an easy ask. We're talking about an entirely new architecture.
Mark, you're on mute.
If the team can pull this off, I think we're going to have something really great here.
Well, we're wondering if we could try out one more thing.
Yeah, we have an idea.
What if we lower the price?
Yeah, great idea. What are you thinking, $350?
Mark, come on, man.
All right. I'll think about it. See you guys soon. So that's a pretty big to-do list. But we want the next version of Quest to be another big step forward. We want virtual reality to be something that anyone can just jump into with the best and most immersive experiences out there, and we want it to be available to as many people as possible. Quest was a big step towards that goal. For the first time, you had real virtual reality with full freedom of movements. You could walk around with no wires to break that feeling of presence. And from day one, we were selling them as fast as we could make them. More than 90% of people who used Quest this year hadn't used an Oculus before. This is the form factor that's going to introduce people to virtual reality. And today, we are taking the next big step forward. and I'm excited to share with all of you Oculus Quest 2. Quest 2 has our highest resolution display ever with 50% more pixels. It's more powerful with a custom Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 processor and 6 gigs of memory. It weighs 10% less than the original Quest and has a new soft strap, so it's even easier to carry around. It has new touch controllers that are more ergonomic and have battery life improvements. It is shipping on October 13th, and we are opening pre-orders today. And it starts at just $299. The team has done an incredible job, and I am really proud of what we've built here. Quest 2 is lighter, faster, and has a better display than the first generation, and it's $100 more affordable. It is fully wireless, and it has hands down the best content library of any VR system out there. Now, there are a bunch of improvements that we've made to the hardware. We've been working on this with Qualcomm for years, and Quest 2 is the first major consumer device that runs on the Snapdragon XR2 platform. It's fully customized for VR and AR with support for multiple cameras and technology like fixed foveated rendering. And the end result is a more immersive experience with crisper graphics, more dynamic environments, and ultimately just a more realistic feeling of presence. The display is better. Instead of 2 OLEDs, Quest 2 has a single LCD for super high resolution visuals, and a new system for adjusting the optics that makes it easier to dial in the visual settings that are right for you. We've redesigned the touch controllers with more efficient tracking and optimized haptics. The new controllers deliver a better feeling of hand presence and stronger physical feedback. And for apps that don't use our full hand tracking, this is going to make a better experience all around. And we've also been making a lot of software updates too. For example, a lot of people have been using VR for fitness. It's probably one of the most fun ways to get in some quick cardio. And Beat Saber is a bit more motivating than a treadmill most mornings. So we've built in a system-level fitness tracker that helps you keep tabs on just how much exercise you're getting while playing some of your favorite titles. It's called Oculus Move, and it lets you set VR fitness goals and track them across different games and apps. And we're also experimenting with real-time stats and in-game overlays, and we're going to start testing this out on Quest later this year. Now, these are just a few of the improvements that make Quest 2 the best all-in-one VR experience out there. Now, I've really been enjoying using mine during this lockdown, and I'm looking forward to getting these in more of your hands in just a few weeks. Now, I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to everyone in our developer community and all of you who've been on this journey with us. 5 months ago, we shared that there were 10 developers who had made more than $2 million in revenue from Quest content alone. And today, there are more than 35 different titles on Quest that generate revenue in the millions of dollars. People have spent more than $150 million on Quest content. This ecosystem is growing. And now, with Quest 2 priced at just $299, a lot more people are going to be able to experience VR soon. So this is becoming a self-sustaining ecosystem now, and a lot of this success comes down to developers building great experiences. Because every time that someone gasps out loud when they see their hands in VR, or instinctively ducks or dodges something, that's the result of all the effort that you put in. So I want to thank all of you, because we are on this mission together. Now, walking the floor at Connect and getting to demo some of the new experiences that you've all built, that was awesome. And I hope we're going to be able to do that and get together in person again one day soon. But I also hope that together we can build something that helps us stay connected even when we are on different continents. Something that can help us feel present no matter where we are. That's what technology should be all about. And it is something that virtual reality can uniquely help us accomplish. So if we can build experiences that are as vivid and meaningful as being there together in person, that's going to unlock a lot of amazing things. It's going to mean that you're free to live and work and learn anywhere you want, to meet friends in new places, to explore and create new worlds. For the first time, we're going to be able to step outside the limits of the physical world and experience things and be part of communities that weren't even possible before. And I can't wait to create this with all of you. And now, to talk more about the journey ahead, I'm going to hand it off to Boz.
Thanks, Mark. At Facebook Reality Labs, we often say that we see AR and VR as the next step in computer evolution. From mainframes to desktops, desktops to laptops, and laptops to smartphones, these are what comes next. But why? Why do we say that? What right do we have to make that claim? And the answer, I think, goes to the very heart of what computers are and what they're for, and why a social media company acquired a virtual reality company, and why our VR conference is called Connect in the first place. I mean, everyone knows that computers are useful. I mean, they help us accomplish tasks more efficiently and accurately. But from the very beginning, they've also had another important purpose: to connect people. An early computer scientist to make this case was Doug Engelbart, famous for the mother of all demos, where he debuted things like the mouse, the graphical user interface, and hyperlinked text. But he also debuted shared document editing and even video conferencing way back in 1968. Along with his friend Stuart Brand, Engelbart understood that the coming computer revolution was about more than better technology. It was about finding ways to help people share ideas and experiences with each other at a distance. Now, that demo, in turn, inspired the groundbreaking work in places like Xerox PARC, Bell Labs, Stanford Research Institute, and others who made it possible for you to watch me on your computer today. Now, these institutions were the inspiration for our recent name change to Facebook Reality Labs. Like computers, I believe augmented reality will be useful, but I also believe our work on it is what will make it transcend the distance between people. Especially now, during this time of social distancing, I know how much it means to me to be able to spend time in digital spaces with my parents and kids when we can't be in the same room. Millions of people across the world know what that's like too. And that's why, over the past year, our conviction about the importance of meaningful social presence has only grown, and why we remain committed to a world where emotional connection is no longer contingent on physical proximity, where interaction at a distance is just as enriching and sometimes just as demanding as interaction in person. Now, VR is the first half of that vision, and as all of you know, we've come a long way. I mean, I remember my first demo. It was Toy Box. You know, you pick up a virtual dart gun and you could blast targets that were off floating in space. And it was very simple, but the potential struck me immediately. These days, VR is practically transcendent. I mean, I've climbed mountains, I've battled robots in zero gravity, I've explored alien planets. And I've done all these amazing things, but more often than not, I was doing them by myself. We have to continue to grow the VR community so that we can do more with our friends. So to bring in more people from more backgrounds, with Quest 2, we just built a better headset all around. I mean, it's lighter, it's faster, and it's got our highest resolution display ever. But all of that is small comfort if it doesn't fit right. That's why I'm pleased to announce some accessories we're launching for Quest 2, a fit pack, an elite strap, and the highly requested battery strap. Now, of course, it doesn't even matter how well it fits if it's not affordable, which is why I'm so proud that we got the price of Quest 2 down to $299. That's a full $100 less than Quest. That is a big deal. And if you're wondering what to do with that extra $100, be sure to stick around to hear about the great content our developers are bringing to the platform. Now, as I said at OC6, we're also building out our capacity for meaningful social presence in workspaces. We all know this has been a hard year for jobs and businesses. I mean, for those of us who have the privilege of working from home, we may have lost the commute, but we've also lost some of the community. For my org, for a lot of Facebook, and for people all over the world, Portal has been a real hero these past few months. And as of this month, in addition to Workplace, you'll be able to take meetings on Portal via BlueJeans, GoToMeeting, WebEx, and Zoom. With Portal as a dedicated screen for video calls, it's a lot easier to be present with your coworkers, and it frees up your laptop as well. But still, Portal is only the beginning of virtual presence in the remote workplace. I've been really impressed this year by the new collaboration and productivity apps in Quest built by third-party pioneers. And this is an area that we're investing a lot in as well. Now, longer term, we envision an enterprise ecosystem with expanding platforms and new business models made possible across distances. Maria's going to tell you more about that later in the program. Now, the second half of our vision for the future of computing is augmented reality, or AR, We've made a lot of progress in the lab over the last year, and I'm excited to share it with you. At its essence, AR is a way of placing a digital, interactive layer on top of the real world. Already, a good smartphone can apply AR effects to things that it recognizes, like objects or pictures, bodies, and faces. 3 years ago, we created the Spark AR platform to help people do just that. And to date, more than 400,000 creators from 190 different countries have published effects for Facebook and Instagram, the majority of whom, 55%, are women. Now, together, they've published over 1.2 million AR effects that are used by hundreds of millions of people every month across our apps and devices. In just the last 3 months, more than 150 effect owners have hit over 1 billion views and uses. It's pretty incredible. And I'm excited to announce that beginning next year, we're opening Portal and Messenger for creator publishing as well. AR effects in chat are a really fun way to connect, especially for families. Now, the behaviors that we see validated today are going to help us build a better AR tomorrow. And the promise of AR is the promise of an information-rich world where your capacity for knowledge, reason, and awareness is expanded well beyond your physical capacity to see, know, or recall. Now, in some ways, we already live in that world. I mean, we can do a lot with a smartphone and a good internet connection. And yet, there's just so much more we could be doing. Our digital experiences are still mediated by heads down, eyes down, handheld devices. At Facebook Reality Labs, we ask ourselves, what if that was no longer the case? What could the future hold that's even better than this? Imagine a pair of glasses that could give you a 3D overlay of everything without having to look down at anything. This is a world where you accept a friend's phone call and a hologram appears right in your line of sight, where you're walking into a new city and the glasses not only give you directions, but they also help you spot hazards that you can't see. You want to understand a foreign language? The world translates itself for you. Now, sometimes we talk about the benefits of AR like they're superpowers, and they are, but not everyone has the same abilities. So for a lot of people, maybe for most people, it's going to be simply empowering. Now, before you get your hopes up, I am not here to announce V1 of our fully functional AR glasses. I'm sorry to say we're just not there yet. But I do have the privilege of sharing with you some of the work we've been doing in the lab. As Mark alluded to earlier, this is Project Aria. Now, these glasses are a precursor to working AR. It doesn't display any information inside the lens, it's not for sale, and it's not a prototype. It's a research device that will help us understand how to build the software and hardware necessary for real, working AR glasses. Starting in September, some specially trained Facebook employees and contractors will be wearing the glasses in real-world conditions, indoors and outdoors. Their sensor platform will capture video and audio, eye tracking, and location data, all to help us answer some of the questions that we need to ask before we release AR glasses to the general public. The first question is about hardware. What do we put on the glasses? I mean, think of all the things necessary for AR to work. Outward sensors that can interpret the world, inward sensors that can track your eye movements and know where to show you information, and computers to process just all of that. And then, assuming you could fit everything you need into a pair of glasses, how would they perform under different light conditions or different weather conditions? Which sensors can you do without? And where might you need more? These are questions we can't answer in the lab. So like all good science, we have to put our theories to the test. Another question we have is about data. I mean, there's a lot of data sets about the world from the point of view of satellites or even automobiles, but there aren't a lot of what's called egocentric data sets. How do we program software that understands what the world looks like from a first-person point of view? And more to the point, how do we balance what data we need to collect and process in the first place? At OC6, I introduced live maps, our effort at creating a shared virtual maps that are drawn from crowdsourced information, basically a 3D spatial internet. If we can design glasses that can both build and use live maps, we can deliver an AR experience that requires as little data as possible. Michael Abrash will share more later about the technical aspects being worked on in the lab, but before moving on, I'd like to show you guys a video we produced with the research team that introduces Project Aria.
Aria is a comprehensive sensor platform that you wear like a pair of glasses and is used for research purposes.
At the beginning of Aria, we actually evaluated many form factors: the hat, the bracelet, But we settled on the glasses because it could give us the closest human perspective.
If you really want a system that is socially aware in a sense, it perceives the space like people do, you've got to look at the world from a human point of view.
This allows us to start to teach devices to see, hear, and contextualize, and making sense of the situation so that they could better help humans in the future.
Imagine you lose your keys, and now you have a device that's able to tell you, hey, you left your keys on the coffee table.
Or the ability to take your human senses and feel as if you are somewhere else in the world. When we think about navigation, it's not just the turn-by-turn direction that you're getting from your phone, but it's really navigate you to anything.
Navigation also will unlock amazing possibilities in public safety and accessibility. Project Aria is about figuring out the right privacy and safety and policy model long before we bring AR glasses to the world.
We anonymize all the data, which means we blur faces and license plates.
Starting in September, a few hundred Facebook workers will be wearing Aria on campuses and in public spaces to help us collect data to uncover the underlying technical and ethical questions and start to look at answers to those. Where do we go from here? Well, we learn. The project is really going to be a series of iterations, right? It's going to develop over time, a bit like, the internet. We're incredibly excited about the opportunity that Project Aria and the future of augmented reality brings.
We're going to do this together, and it's going to be amazing.
Now, as the video mentioned, in addition to the technical complexities we're navigating with Project Aria, we've also been working to answer some questions about how and when the glasses should be used. New technology often has unintended consequences and negative externalities, and our job is to get ahead of ours. AR glasses will be cool, but they shouldn't be rose-tinted. In order to wear the research glasses, people will undergo training on when and where they can gather data. Sensitive places like restrooms or prayer rooms are obviously off-limits. Before data we collect in public is used for research, the data is quarantined and faces and license plates are blurred. Like a mapping car, all participants will be easily identifiable by their clothing. You can find more details about Project Aria online, and we'll continue to use the lessons we gather to inform how we build and launch AR in the future. More generally, though, all of this is about operationalizing a set of principles for responsible innovation that guide our work in the lab. At Facebook, principles are not just a list of nice things. They describe trade-offs, things that we do even when the opposite might benefit us somehow. So, for example, when we're building, we should be transparent about how and when data is collected and used over time so that people are not surprised. We will build simple controls that are easy to understand and clear about the implications of a choice. And we build for all people of all backgrounds, including people who aren't using our products at all, but may be affected by them. We think about this a lot in the context of Project Aria. And we strive to do what's right for our community, individuals, and our business. But when faced with these trade-offs, we prioritize our community. Moreover, because we recognize the limits to our own understanding, we're working with third-party experts to expand our sphere of input. As part of these efforts, I'm happy to announce 2 RFPs for over $1 million around the principle, Consider Everyone. This research will focus on the impact of AR, VR, and smart device technology on non-users, especially non-users from underrepresented and vulnerable communities, as well as best practices for fostering welcoming and inclusive environments in 3D spaces. You can find out more here. We've also been socializing these principles with experts across the privacy, safety, and AR/VR community, and they've told us they're happy we wrote them. But talk is cheap. Trust is earned and not given. And we stand ready to be judged by what we do and not what we say. I want to give a special shout out to the tireless teams at FRL, delivering meaningful social presence across a lot of different products under very challenging conditions. The future of technology is bright, and I'm so proud to work with all of you. I've been excited about this technology for a long time. Just like the labs that inspire us, we hope that our lab can play a role in helping shape the future. The need for this technology is all around us in 2020. Sheltering in place has only intensified my sense of urgency for this work. Every day away from my loved ones grows my conviction that this technology is important. But as excited as I am to introduce this to the world, I'm even more excited to use it myself. I mean, I miss seeing my family, my friends, my colleagues, and all of you. Be safe, and we hope to see you next year, one way or another.
Right now, someone's working in the lab, and someone's going far away from someone that they love.